Hi YouTube, it's Janelle here. In this video, I'm going to be taking a call from a subscriber who has a question about making a specific decision that she's having a tough time making. But before we jump into the call, I just want to remind you guys that if you have a question or a topic that you want me to cover right here on my channel, you could give me a call and leave a recorded message. I will post your message right here on my channel with a video response from me. So the number you can call is 774-231-8522. And let's jump right into this call.
Hi, this Be Helpful. I am 26 years old. I make about 65K. The situation that I'm in right now is just trying to figure out the best way to pay off my student loans as quick as possible, but also start to stockpile some funds for me moving out of the house. The amount of debt that I currently have is around 40K. I am looking to get a small, not a small apartment, but something called a tiny home, and I know that's going to cost about 25 to 30K. I'm just not sure how to do both of them at the same time, and which one should come first. I know that my parents are in the midst of possibly transitioning in the next 2 to 3 years. If you can, help me out with just kind of your thoughts of what's the best thing to do, which one should come first. And thank you so very much for the videos you put out. They're very helpful for me just to navigate some of the different financial things I'm planning on doing.
All right, that is so sweet. First of all, you're very welcome for the videos. I love posting them, so I'm glad that you're enjoying them. Tiny homes are so cute. Like, that makes me so happy. I don't think I've ever had somebody tell me that they're actually interested in purchasing a tiny home. So this is a first. I love tiny homes. I wish I had one. They're so adorable. But that being said, girl, you're young. You're 26 years old, and you got $40,000 of debt, and you want to purchase a $25,000 to $30,000 tiny home for yourself at the age of 26, you know where I'm going with this. It's not going to be what you want to hear. But that being said, I'm going to start by just saying, first of all, it really depends on your priorities. Personal finance, if you just look at that first word, it's personal. It really is person to person. It depends on what your priorities are. If your priorities are to be independent, to be a grown woman living out on your own, you don't want to be living with mama and papi anymore, okay, then maybe that means that you're going to emphasize saving as much as you can to put down on this tiny home. But if your priorities are not so much to be doing your own thing, and really it's more so to be a debt-free woman and to be independent financially rather than being out here, like a grown woman, then you're going to want to figure out how to get out of that debt as fast as you can. So you have $40,000 of debt. You said that that's all student loan debt. So I'm assuming it's probably about a 4% interest rate. That's like the average. And you're putting $800 towards that right now. So in my mind, if you do the math, it's going to take you way more than 3 years, right? If you want it to be done before your parents move out of their house in the next 3 years, then what I would suggest you do is similar to what I did, is to take advantage of the ability and the blessing that you have to stay with your parents. I would stay there for those 3 years, milk that opportunity to not have a lot of rent payments every month, or not have a high rent payment every month, and just put like $400 extra every month towards that student loan payment. In 3 years, you will be completely debt free. In 36 months, you could pay off, $40,000 in 3 years if it's at a 4% interest rate. If you hit that monthly payment at about $1,200, right now you're hitting it at $800. If you can afford to put $400 extra a month, then that I would say that would probably be the best idea, because in 3 years your parents will be ready to move on. You'll be debt free. Then you can kind of use your income and your good credit at that point to get a new apartment. And at that point you'll be 29 years old. You'll be a lot closer to 30, girl. So maybe you'll even have a partner, boyfriend. Maybe you'll have some friends that you might want to live with. I mean, you're gonna have a different life in 3 years than what you have now. 26 is still a little bit on the younger side, I would say. And you're just a few years out of college rather than being closer to 30. So I was going to say the answer depends on your personal goals and your priorities. But at this point, after kind of talking about it out loud, I think my answer is going to be, I wouldn't recommend getting the tiny home at such a young age. Your lifestyle might change a little bit in the next couple years. You might change your mind. You might have a partner. So many different things could change about your lifestyle in 3 years. And so I would prioritize getting out of debt. And even if you're not able to hammer down that $1,200 a month in a payment to your student loans, you could still put just a couple more $100s and be done with the debt in less than 5 years, which is, a third or a fourth of how long it takes most people. Most people take 15 to 20 years to pay their student loans. So I would, if I were you, prioritize, especially because you could live at home, prioritize paying off that debt. And if you, in 3 years, if you still find yourself really wanting that tiny home, if it's still part of your lifestyle and one of your biggest desires, you really want that tiny home, then you can always do the tiny home later. You can always, save up money. You're going to have a higher income at that point 3 years from now, right? Your income's probably going to increase, and you can save aggressively and get the tiny home when you're 29 or 30, right? If you save similar amounts of money to how much you were saving, it's going to be hard because you're going to, have to start paying rent when your parents figure out their living situation after the next 2 or 3 years. But if you can save aggressively and, have a roommate or live with a partner or something like that, you might be able to save enough money to have that 25K or 30K for a tiny home in 3 years, if you still want it. So I think my advice is to focus on getting that free here and to wait a little bit on that want versus the need, the want to have the tiny home. I know it sounds cute, it's really cool, but since you're probably already minimalist, since you're looking at a tiny home, you could probably get an apartment that's really small or a room with a few roommates and not have a lot of stuff cluttering your apartment and save money that way too. So that would be my advice to you since you're already a tiny home kind of person, because if you do buy the tiny home now and you go with that route, it might be hard to find somebody to purchase the tiny home from you. Like reselling a tiny home has its whole complications and challenges, right? It's going to be hard because you customize a tiny home for your wants and your lifestyle, and it's going to be hard to find a tiny home a person who wants to buy the tiny home from you, not a tiny person, but somebody who's going to want to buy that tiny home from you after you've customized it to your liking. So that would be my recommendation. But that being said, again, it's really based on your personal priorities. So really sit with yourself and think about where you want to be in 3 years, and let that guide your decision. Don't just take my word for it, because that's what I would do. That's my opinion. But really, you should base your decision on your priorities and your goals and where you want to be 3 years from now. So that is what I would say. If you guys have any ideas or questions or comments, or if you want to kind of add anything on or disagree with me, do that in the comments, and let this caller and subscriber know what you think. If you agree with me or not, I just want to see you sound off in the comments so that I have a sense of where you guys are at. If you have a question or comment that you want me to cover on my channel, the number to call me at is 774-231-8522, or you can email me at missbehelpful@gmail.com. You can also find me and connect with me on social media. The handle is always at missbehelpful. And I post videos every week, hopefully to help people get their money right and improve their life for the better. So hopefully these videos are helpful, and that's all I have for you guys. Till next time, peace.